हेलो इंजीनियर्स, कैसे हो आप सब? होपफुली यू आर फाइन. आई एम ऑल्सो फाइन. टुडे वी विल डिस्कस टेस्ट लेयर and test type. Test layer are group of test activities that are organized and managed together. Each test level is an instance of the test process performed in relation to software at a given stage of development, from individual component to complete system, or where applicable system of systems. Test labels are related to other activities within the SDLC. In sequential SDLC models, the test labels are often defined such that the exit criteria of one label are part of the entry criteria for the next label. In some iterative models, this may not apply. Development activities may span through multiple test labels that test labels may overlap in time. Test type are group of test activities related to specific quality characteristic, and most of those test activities can be performed at every test level. Test levels. In these levels, there are the five components of the test levels: component testing, component integration testing, system integration testing, acceptance testing. So we will go with one by one. Component testing, also known as unit testing. Focus on testing component is isolation. It often requires specific support such as tests, HAMS, or unit test framework. Component testing is normally performed by developers in their development environment. Component integration testing, also known as unit testing, integration testing, focus on testing the interface and interactions between components. Component interaction testing is heavily dependent on the integration strategy approaches like bottom up, top down, and big bang. System testing focus on the overall behavior and capabilities of entire system or product, often including functional testing of end-to-end task and non-functional staging of quality characteristic. For some non-functional quality characteristic, it is performable to test them on a complete system in a respective representative test environment. Example: usability using simulation of subsystem is also possible. System testing may be performed by an independent test team and is related to specific for the system. System integration testing focus on testing the interface of the system under test and other system and external services. System integration testing requires a suitable test environment, preferably similar to the operational environment. Acceptance testing focus on validation and demonstrating their readiness for development, which means that the system fulfills the user business need. Ideally, acceptance testing should be performed by the intended users. The main form of acceptance testing are user acceptance testing, operational acceptance testing, contractual and regulatory acceptance testing, alpha testing, and beta testing. Test labels are distinguished by the following non-executive list of attributes to avoid overlapping of test activities: test objects, test objectives, test basics, defects and failures, approaches and responsibilities. Test types. A lot of test types exist and can be applied in projects. In this levels, the following four test types are addressed. Functional testing. Evaluate the functionality that a component or system should be performed. The function or what the test object should do. The main objective of functional testing is checking the functional completeness, functional correctness, and functional appropriateness. Non-functional testing. Evaluate attribute other than functional characteristic of a component or system. Non-functional testing is the testing of how well the system behaves. The main objective of non-functional testing is checking the non-functional software quality characteristics like performance, efficiency, compatibility, usability, reliability, security, maintainability, portability. It is sometimes appropriate for non-functional testing to start early in the life cycle as part of the review and component testing or system testing. Many non-functional tests are derived from functional tests as they use the same function test but check that while performing the function, a non-functional constraint is satisfied. checking that a function performed within a specified time or function can be ported to a new platform. The late discovery of non-functional defects can be pose a serious threat to the success of a project. Non-functional testing sometimes need a very specific test environment such as a usability lab or suitability testing. Black box testing is a specific based and derived test from documentation external to the test objects. The uh, the main objective of black box testing checking the system behavior against a specification. White box testing is all about the done by the developers, the structure based or derived test and system implementation of internal structures. The main objective of white box testing is to cover the underlying structure by the test to the acceptable level. All four above mentioned test types that can be applied to the test levels. Exactly, black box, white box, always white box testing done by the QAs and white box testing done by the developers, and the functional and non-functional like performance, compatibility, usability, reliability, security, maintainability, portability. This is under non-functional things. Functionally like core functionality of that testing. uh, Confirmation testing and regression. Confirmation testing that the original defect has been successfully fixed. Depending on the risks, one can test the fixed version of the software several ways, executing all data test cases that previously have failed due to the defect, adding a new test to cover any changes that were needed to fix the defect. Regression are like regression that no adverse consequence has been caused by a changes, including a that fix that has already been confirmed tested. These tests at the consequence could affect the same component where the changes was made. The other component is the same system. Ever even other connected system. Regression testing may not be restricted to the test object itself, but can also be related to the environment. It is advisable first to perform an impact analysis to optimize the extent of the regression testing. Regression test suite can run many times and generally number of regression test cases will increase with each iteration or release. So regression testing is this strong candidate for automation. Automation of this like regression testing we perform when the build is come, then we perform a regression testing. We check all the functionality working fine while the uh, one bug is fixed, left of the functionality is working properly or not. This is the main objective of the regression testing. Come to the maintenance testing. Maintenance testing is the different characteristics of maintenance. It can be corrective, adaptive to change in the environment or improve the performance or maintainability. So maintenance can be involve plan, release, deployment, unplanned release, deployment, or like hotfix. Impact analysis may be done before a change is made. Yep. So impact analysis may be done before the changes is made to help decide if the changes should be made based on the potential consequence in other area of the system. Testing the changes to a system is production includes both evaluating the success of the implementation of the changes and checking for possible aggregation in part of the system that remain unchanged. The scope of maintenance testing typically depends on the degree of risk of the changes, the size of existing program system, size of changes. The trigger of for maintenance and maintenance testing can be classified as follows: modifications such as plan enhancement, correctiveness changes or hotfix, upgrades or migration of the operational environment such as from one platform to another, which can require tests associated with the new environment as well as of the change software or test of data. Conversion when data from another application is migrated into the system being maintained. Retirement such as when an application reaches the end of its life, when a system is retired. This can require testing of data archiving. If long data retention period are required, testing of resource restored and retrieval procedure after archiving may also be needed in the event that certain data is required during the archive periods. So we will discuss testing in the next lecture. Thank you guys.